J. Trump arriving in Saudi Arabia for his first foreign trip as president. This is a high-stakes, 8-day, 5-country mission, which the White House hopes might turn the page on the investigations and allegations raging here at home.
And speaking of which, overnight, as the president crossed, we're going to begin with ABC's Cecilia Vega, who was with the president in Saudi Arabia. Good morning to you, Cecilia.
Hey, Paula, good morning to you. This is an American first. Never before has a president set foot on Saudi soil for his first trip abroad. But that cloud of chaos that you were just talking about is following President Trump here, even though the White House is trying for a reset. Air Force One touching down in Saudi Arabia this morning, a red carpet welcome, even if it took a while to lay out that carpet and roll out those stairs. President Trump receiving the royal treatment, the Saudi king right there to greet him and the First Lady at the king's personal terminal, used exclusively for the royal family and their guests. For President Trump, first stop, ceremonial coffee with the king, the microphones picking up their chatter. Outside, the president greeted with streets lined in American flags. Giant billboards showing him and the Saudi king. A warm welcome here for President Trump in the capital city of Riyadh. You could see all of these flags on the city's streets, but it is not just that political chaos back at home casting a shadow on this trip. It's his comments from the campaign trail, too. From his thoughts on Islam.
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred.
To that Muslim ban.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
His first foreign trip jam-packed. 8 days, 5 countries, with stops at the world's great religious centers, from Saudi Arabia, the birthplace of Islam, to Israel and then the Vatican. An ambitious agenda, but the question this morning, how successful can President Trump be abroad with a firestorm back home? And tomorrow, the president is expected to deliver a big speech to the Muslim world, calling on it to end extremism. It was written by Stephen Miller. Paula, that is the same aide who helped on that travel ban.
In that speech, he's expected to preach religious tolerance. But I've got to ask you about that visual we've seen, Cecilia. First Lady Melania Trump is drawing some attention for not wearing a headscarf.
Yeah, and that is an example of the microscope that the president and the first lady are under a trip like this, but she is following in the footsteps of Michelle Obama, who also did not wear a headscarf during her 2015 visit. That was hugely controversial back then, seen as a sign of disrespect in this religiously conservative country. Among the people, Paula, who criticized Michelle Obama back then, Donald Trump.
Yeah, Cecilia, thanks for your reporting. We know you're going to be there for every step of the way on this trip. Thanks, Cecilia.
Let's play some video, if we could, please, of a pretty stunning moment. Jim was talking about the publicity of this and how much we're seeing, but do you see that that chain around, the gold necklace around the President Trump's neck there? Well, Saudi King Salman presented that to the president. It's a gold medal. The collar of Abdulaziz Al Saud is what it's called, and it's the nation's highest honor. I want to ask you, Anousheh, what do you make of, what is the symbolism there? What is the intention as he gives him that honor? Because already what we are seeing, the grandeur of this welcome, is so different from what we've seen with past presidents.
Well, I think that Donald Trump has always kind of taken a softer stance when it's come to Saudi Arabia. You know, they were left off of his famous Muslim ban list and also his executive order barring Muslim immigrants from the U.S. And, you know, despite Saudi Arabia being one of the greatest exporters of Islamic radical Islam, Donald Trump has always taken a softer stance on them. And let's not forget, there's a $109 billion arms deal also on the table that he has to seal with the Saudis. And, you know, it's really interesting because in many ways there couldn't be a better time for Donald Trump to kind of be out of Washington and escape the siege-like atmosphere he's facing here back at home and be in Saudi Arabia. But at the same time, this really ambitious trip is full of diplomatic landmines. And I really think his first diplomatic blunder has the potential to start off in Saudi, in Riyadh.